let's dive into the coaching staff. So I saw this video from the Spit and Chicklets folks. Kevin Bieksa was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play the video and just kind of react to it, because I did. This is something we've touched on throughout the offseason, but it's nice to hear it from Bieksa, honestly. Like he's a very well-spoken former player who's experienced the Vancouver market firsthand. And I thought this quote was interesting in this, him talking about the coaching staff. So let's get this up here, Aaron. Let's run the Kevin Bieksa quotes about the Canucks coaching staff.
Foote helping him out. You got Sergei Gonchar, and apparently it's going to be the Sedin brothers helping with the power play. Like, how do you think that collective help from that coaching staff will amplify the group?
It'll be unbelievable. Again, if you're a guy in that locker room on that team, how do you not listen to these voices? These guys are Hall of Famers, like Olympians, all-stars, like you got everything. The Sedins kind of started getting onto the ice more and more last year. They were showing some of these guys things that, like talking with Chris Higgins that works for the team, he's showing these kids something where like I'm still learning. Like Higgins has been retired now, and the Sedins are showing him something like on the wall, how to like counter pinch a defenseman. And he's like, oh my God, like that is so smart. Like what an asset. And then Adam Foote, like I got to know Footer a bunch because we kind of both worked for my agent. And he's another guy. He's got all these little like old school tricks.
Yeah, like butt ending a guy in the spleen.
Yeah, but a little bit more subtle than that.
Oh, okay.
But just something simple, like when you make a pass, your first step after you make your pass is recover to the middle. So you make your pass wherever it is in the D zone. First step is recovering the middle. Like just little tips like that some of these young guys aren't taught at a young age. And I don't think there's as much teaching anymore of like how the game is played and structure. I think it's more like skill development. To have guys like that, I think is going to be huge for them.
And we've seen that structure, that teaching, all the education we've heard Tocchet speak about, and players too. Players are saying the same thing. We have a video as well. This was literally a day after Bieksa said all this. The Canucks social team, shout out to them, because they posted a video of Akito Hirose picking up some tricks from Adam Foote. Mike Yeo was there too, but the focus was on Adam Foote, who's one of the game's best defensemen, giving Akito Hirose just the little tips that you just wouldn't think of if you're not Adam Foote.
Straight line, and he's shifty. Sometimes I trick him and I stop and take a step back. That's what so if I'm going, I don't know what happened, but if it's straight line and I'm like this and I come back and then I go back in, it puts him on pause.
Even just kind of like, because you weren't like real, but you went all in straight ahead.
Yeah. You get caught in that as a D sometimes, especially if you got a real good player you're playing against defending. It's a good trick. They put some. Not a lot of guys do it. So you got a good player, and you're coming in at caught there. Just come in, pretend you're going in, and he loves it. And you stop and come back.
Like make him feel the pressure.
Yeah, and he comes back, and he's like, "Whoa!" Sometimes they pass it right to you.
Okay.
I look at Akito Hirose there, and he's just like, he's so engaged.
Bro, Akito Hirose has played NHL 04 and dressed Adam Foote and taking him in fantasy drafts, and now he's picking up little tricks like that. That is so freaking cool. Like, that is just so cool. I think that's super cool for Akito Hirose. I think that's cool for us two younger guys who saw Adam Foote in the later part of his career, right? Like,
oh, I saw him in his younger part too.
Yeah, I guess you did. Yeah, but like that is just cool. That I don't think we need to analyze that any further than that is cool. That is really cool that the Canucks coaching staff is now just filled with, as Bieksa said, these Olympians, these Hall of Famers, these all-stars, that you're just learning things that you wouldn't learn otherwise.
And I like the fact that, so Sergei Gonchar, Adam Foote, they don't have the most coaching experience. The Sedins don't as well. But like Rick Tocchet, the leader of the coaching staff, does. Like, he's been coaching for a while now. He's a guy that's made that smooth transition. So it's like he's probably helping the coaches deliver a message to a player, but these coaches that are here and a part of the staff probably have such great messages that they can deliver to the players. It's about how do you get that information from a Adam Foote or a Sergei Gonchar into the players' minds. And I think that's where the difference between development and coaching is. When you're at the level and you're trying to teach a prospect to develop a skill, it's something that I think a lot more people could help with. As you're in a development stage, you can help a little bit easier with these guys and try and teach them little things. But coaching is like, hey, when you're developing a prospect, wins don't matter that much. At this level, now these guys are pros. Now they're just trying to pick up little tricks, and they have their own experience at the NHL level. So how they can execute whatever it is that a player is kind of, or one of these guys like Adam Foote or Sergei Gonchar or Mike Yeo even, is what teaching these guys. That's the other thing too. I think it's so cool that they have like an offensive defenseman and a defensive defenseman with Sergei Gonchar and Adam Foote. Like, it's a great little combination. The Russian connection with the Canucks having so many Russians now with Sergei Gonchar just makes so much sense. I think one of the big takeaways we can take away as a positive thing, and I've talked about Abbotsford being a massive positive story for the Vancouver Canucks. The other thing is, like, this staff is now built, right? This is a staff that you feel confident in. And it's not just us saying in Vancouver, like the Spit and Chicklets guys, right? Like, they're talking about this potentially being like one of the best staffs in the league. Like, a lot of people around the league are starting to talk about the potential, at least for this staff, to be so good at teaching their players because they've done so much and won so much. And they've got like the management group to back them up. Like, I think that the Canucks are at least in a much better spot to win games because of the staff that they've built around these players. And you can't knock the coaching staff at all. They are in a spot now to be a lot better. How different is it last year when Trent Cull's the assistant captain? Now you got Adam Foote, whatever, coach. What I'm saying, Trent Cull's the assistant coach last year. Now you got Adam Foote and Sergei Gonchar. I mean, little bit of an upgrade there, in my opinion. What are you doing over there? TikToking?
The YouTube live chat.
Doesn't look like it to me. I saw a double tap there. What are you liking?
I'm not liking anything.
Okay.
I'm on the YouTube live chat. That's all I do.
Anything to say about the coaches or what?
No, just that it's really cool. Like, it's really cool hearing Bieksa talk about
Great
that
analysis.
Yeah, like I said, you don't need analysis. Why are we trying to overanalyze this? This is cool. These guys are learning stuff that they would not otherwise learn. And if you're a player, it's like Bieksa said, how do you not pay attention, or how do you check out? Like,
you
at
see
any point?
like the look of Akito Hirose's eyes on like Foot there. It's like he is, every single word that's said is being taken to heart, and I think that's important as well. The amount of respect that you have for a coach matters. And man, when it's Daniel and Henrik running the power play, and then it's one of the skills coaches that's widely regarded as one of the best in Western Canada right now, and Yogi Svechkovsky, like. There's a lot of respect from the players right now, and I think that's a certain type of respect that's been earned by what those guys have been able to do at the NHL level or around the NHL. So, yeah, looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Really excited to announce this. I want to announce it because he tweeted about it. Dave Hall tweeted out, I am thrilled to announce that I will be joining Canucks Army this season, contributing to prospect coverage and everything Canucks. He gave us a shout out, but I'm not going to read that part. He said, can't wait to get going. We are very excited to be adding Dave to the team. Dave Hall joining Canucks Army. And I wanted to make sure we got that in. And Rolled Cohen in the chat said, yo, buddy, eyes up there. I'm reading the chat. You and Rolled over here.
No.
I'm reading the chat. And I had stuff that I wanted to bring up in the chat. Everybody's bullying me for reading.
All right, what do you got?
Sterling Wilson said, after he's done coaching his son, U16, I believe, I could see Juice end up behind a bench somewhere. He's really good on TV too. Absolutely. You have to think coaching's in the cards for Kevin Bieksa.
Bieksa liked his time in Vancouver.
That's right.
Imagine that. They just have like some of the coolest defensemen to like join the Canucks coaching.
Totally
unreal. But I do think, man, like, and even like I remember, was it the Canucks and Cars interview, I believe, where it was like Tocchet and Foote were talking, and Rick Tocchet told a story about, it was like the 5th of July, like day after 4th of July, and we all know what 4th of July is like in the States. Good luck waking up the next morning without a hangover. But he's getting videos sent to him, like Rick Tocchet is from Adam Foote. The day after 4th of July, and it's like, I mean, at least there's a good feeling about the coaching staff this year, and there was last year because everybody loved Bruce. But I think it's just like a different feeling. It's more of a in line with the organization, talking about structure and habits and all these things. They are at least backing it up with what they're doing on the ice with that coaching staff. And man, we were thinking about this yesterday at the rink. We're like, there's 8 coaches on the ice right now. Right? Like 8 coaches on the ice. There were times last year where we would see 2 coaches on the ice early on in the season with the Boudreau group. Like, I mean, like, makes a difference, man. It really does make a difference. It's more professional. It's just run more professional is the best way to say it.
That's a very, very good point. That was something that kind of didn't get talked about a lot.
Like, man, there was a practice we went to last year when Bruce Boudreau, and listen, man, love the guy, but like, there was a practice we went to last year. It was 12 minutes. It was a 12-minute practice.
I
don't think you're going to see a 12-minute practice this year. And I think that's a good change in the way that this team operates. Yeah. Much as I love Bruce.
We love Bruce on this show.
Great guy.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question here for you. Who, if you could add anybody to the Canucks coach staff, could you talk about cool defensemen? Putting you on the spot here. Who would you add to the Canucks defense, defensive coaching team or
It's
whatever.
a guy I've talked about in the past. It would be Scott Niedermayer.
I love it. I love it.
He's
That was my
already here
pick.
in BC.
Yep. Okay. You had the correct
And
answer.
I actually don't think it's like that much out of the realm of possibility because his kids are moving on from the BCHL. They're heading to college. He's obviously running things with the is it Penticton Bees?
Yeah, Penticton. Yep.
Right. So he's out there with the Penticton Bees, but like, hey, we've talked about Scott Niedermayer on the show coming to the Canucks staff for a long time. And specifically
Coaching Quinn Hughes.
But that's the other thing is like, you know how Gonchar is kind of only like, he's not full-time, right? I don't know if that's been changed, right? Like Gonchar is pretty close to full-time, or is he didn't move to Vancouver last year? It'd be, man, you throw that guy in a mix, or even just like an advisor in some type of role with Scott Niedermayer. I think that's the other addition that I'd love to see.
Aaron Bordato in the chat, our producer, hitting us with Matthias Oland. That's a great pick too.
I like Matthias Oland.
Sammy Salo, friend of the show.
Back in
Sammy
Sweden,
Salo.
get Matthias Oland hanging out with DPD out there. Whew. I mean, that's what everyone's hoping DPD becomes, right? And I mean, it's a huge ask, and it probably won't ever happen. But get them hooked up together, get them chatting. Matthias Oland, great pull by Aaron.
Yeah.